This is the Build Zone podcast. Welcome to episode 149 of the Build Zone podcast. My name is Allison Jackson, joined by my co-host, Mike Maloney. Mike, tell us about our presenting partner, our lightning round sponsor, the best supporters in the entire world.
So this week we are proud to welcome back Interstate Electrical Services. Their website is iesc1.com. And we're going to go to the website, we'll click on who we are, and it says they are a valued partner and trusted employer. And to remain competitive in an ever-changing construction landscape requires a professional team with both technical expertise and the ability to respond quickly to changes in scope and detail. The Interstate team is backed by a company that for over half a century has dedicated itself to delivering quality and service on every project for every customer. Today, with 56 years of experience and success, Interstate is 800 plus employees strong with offices in all 6 New England states, a valued partner and a trusted employer. And then we're going to go to resource options. They are on the LinkedIn here. I'm reading my LinkedIn page here because I brought it up already, but I closed it out. We're going to go right to their LinkedIn, which we like to do on occasion, and we'll click on their last post, which is about an hour ago, and it says, your next adventure begins here. Explore top opportunities in the industries you are passionate about. Whether you're seeking to leap in a new field or step up in a current one, Resource Option Inc. is here to guide you every step of the way. I've got a beautiful graphic up there that says, step into your future with ROI. Explore top career opportunities in industries you love. Your next adventure starts here. So thanks to Interstate and our friends over at Resource Options. It is now November 6th. And one of the things we want to talk about here was, when is the appropriate time to set up for Christmas?
If you celebrate Christmas, a lot of people are kind of torn, right? Like November 1st, right after Halloween, some people have their Christmas tree up. I have friends like that. Some people, they wait until, Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving. I personally like to either have the tree up for Thanksgiving or we put it up the weekend after. But I'm not a November 1st. I'm tired on November 1st usually, especially after Halloween and stuff like that. Like, I'm not in the mood to put up a Christmas tree and organize and facilitate that whole process, especially because we have 2 trees over here. So, yeah, I'm not a November 1st person. I'm also celebrating my birthday that day. So, I'm not putting up a tree. What about you?
Happy birthday, by the way. I know we said
Very
it on the podcast. Happy birthday to you. Christmas, yep, too early for me. November 1st. I like to set up. I'm good. Could be a couple of weeks after Thanksgiving. Not necessarily be that week. In my neighborhood, we set up the lights. The neighbors all compete who could put the lights up the first I was very proud of myself. I always put my lights up last because it's too much too early. It doesn't need to be up for the entire month of December. Christmas is, December 7th is good for me, especially if you do a live tree.
Wow.
I'm a firm believer. Yep, we don't need to make it. Let's not celebrate. The stores, it's already up. Christmas up in Lowe's, Home Depot, CVS,
It's
Walgreens.
been
It's
it's been up.
too much. One holiday at a time. Let's celebrate. We have a much bigger holiday coming up this Sunday, which is the Marine Corps birthday. Marine Corps birthday is a big day. So if you're no Marine out there, make sure you say happy birthday on November 10th. Then we got Veterans Day, the 11th, which was when this episode will drop. And then we've got Thanksgiving. So lots coming up next couple of weeks. We got lots of holidays. But what about training? What do you have for upcoming trainings?
Yep, we have a lot of really good stuff coming up at the top of December. So to start, we have a 15-hour electrical continuing education class. It's going to run December 2nd, 4th, 9th, and 11th from 5 to 9 p.m. at our ABC GCI Woburn office. We have an OSHA 30 hour for construction, December 9th through the 12th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again at our ABC GCI Woburn office. And then we have a pipe fitter prep for exam coming up on December 7th and 14th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. You can check out all of these classes and the rest of what we have going on through December 2024 at gwgci.org/events. And also, if you're interested in coming to our craft championship and ribbon cutting ceremony on November 16th, we would love to have you. It's going to be from 9 to 3. Lunch is going to be starting around 12:30. We're going to be doing the ribbon cutting at about 1 p.m. Please come through any time that you would like, but we just ask that you RSVP so that we have enough food for everybody. You can find all the info that you need at gwgci.org/craft, CRAFT, craft.
Awesome. It's some exciting things coming up here. And this week's news is brought to you by Energy Electrical Contractors, Patriot Benefit Services, Metro Walls, and Veterans Development Corporation. Allison briefly touched upon it, but Craft Championship is coming up November 16th, ribbon cutting ceremony. You can check more out on the WGCI website. We've got the Excellence Construction Awards coming up tomorrow night. So congratulations to all the winners. We'll get that all the way right now. Hopefully we'll have a couple of winners on the podcast in the upcoming weeks. Let's see here. We've got some employment opportunities. If you have some employment opportunities at your business or firm, you can reach out to check the newsletter that came up, because there is a survey that you can take. We can try to help you there. And we got some Veterans Committee news coming up. We'll be cleaning up some veterans yards this Friday. The chairman, Pete Eberhardt from MAS Building and Bridge, is hooked us up with 6 families up in Dunstable. They need the yards cleaned up. We appreciate everybody's donations from Milwaukee, DeWalt. Thanks to them. Upcoming events for ABC Massachusetts, we've got a Lunch and Learn business development workshop, securing your competitive edge through project diversity, taking place Thursday, November 13th from 12 to 1. It's a virtual webinar. We've got the ribbon cutting and the grand opening. We've got ABC member meetup taking place Thursday, November 21st from 4 to 6. ABC Mass office over here in Woburn. And the ABC GCI Holiday Open House Thursday, December 12th from 5 to 7:30. Can't believe it's already time for Christmas.
Crazy.
It's crazy. GCI opens a new facility in Barica, so we're talking about that. Some fundraising, some donations. And we got a lot of member updates this month, so we want to congratulate Luca de Blasio and Company Incorporated of Woburn, heads the list of November member anniversaries, marking 47 years of ABC Massachusetts membership. Congratulations to them. We have 3 companies: Premier Fence, Century Glass, and the Alessandro Corporation of West Bridgewater are at 25 years as members, so congratulations to them. We've got DMH Electric, Superior Plumbing with 15 years each as a member. We've got Turner Brothers, Sherman Williams of Medford making a decade of membership in November. And some milestone anniversaries for 4 companies, each been members for 5 years: Exterior Designs, Integrated Power and Control Services, MPK Enterprises, and Alpine Environmental. Congratulations to all them. It looks like Griffin Electric hosted a vendor appreciation golf event over at the Hopkins Country Club. Look at that, a nice day. BW Kennedy celebrates opening of Roscoe America's 35,000 square foot renewable innovation center. Beautiful building. Credits to them over in Lexington. And the folks over at Nossick Construction have announced the work is well underway on the Stonegate St. Patrick redevelopment project in Natick. As always, if you're on the podcast, reach out to me, Mike, at gwgci.org. For those that don't know, we also have a YouTube channel. You can find us at the Builds On podcast. Just released our 150th episode hype video. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty funny.
Right.
150 episodes. We're the only ABC chapter in the country that does a weekly podcast, produced, edited, all locally done by us here in the office. Like I said, only chapter, 69 chapters in the country, the only one that does a weekly podcast. It's pretty exciting. We're moving up to 150 episodes, which will be next week. It's a milestone. It's pretty awesome. We did a kind of a celebration for 100. We'll do something for 150. It's going to be pretty awesome. This week's guest is Jennifer Landon. She talks about the holiday blues. We thought it was pretty fitting to come on and have her talk. She's a grief coach and educator, things like that. But let's listen to Jennifer. She's also been on the podcast. This is her 4th time on the podcast. So we love having Jennifer. Remember, like, tag, share, and follow. We will see you next week. Welcome back to the podcast. I believe for the 3rd time here. Doesn't happen very often, but Ms. Jennifer Landon. She's the Vice President of Leadership and Total Human Health Initiatives. Jennifer, welcome back again. I know you were on a couple weeks ago, but we're so excited to have you back on because you're just a great guest. So thanks for coming on with us.
Great. Thanks for the opportunity.
For those that don't know what a Vice President of Leadership and Total Human Health Initiatives does, you can tell us again who you are, what you do, and it's longer than my job title. So I don't think I've ever seen anybody with a longer job title than me. So we'll let you explain what you do.
Great. So my current role has 2 different components to it. So the first one, the leadership side, I oversee and facilitate our Future Leaders in Construction program. That's kind of our flagship leadership program that we run here at the New Hampshire, Vermont chapter. And I have to do a little bragging here that this year we have 3 classes that we're running. We have, I think, 22 students in Vermont, and then we have 2 classes of 30 each in New Hampshire. And we had to make it exclusive to ABC members in New Hampshire this year because we sold out. And I already have a waiting list started for next year's class.
Oh,
Yeah, it's outstanding, the
That's
reputation
amazing.
that it has. So really, really excited. So I oversee that. I facilitate those programs. We do have some co-facilitators that come in and help us out. And then also we offer a job site leadership and communication course that I oversee. So anything having to do with leadership, I oversee those initiatives. And then the Total Human Health Initiative, that's actually in alignment with what ABC National is doing with the Total Human Health initiative that we have. And that's really taking a look at our employees, the industry as a whole in relation to, body, heart, mind, soul, spirit. This is also where the suicide prevention training comes in. So I'm a vital cog construction suicide prevention trainer. And that's all because of the initiative the ABC National has going on, mental health first aid provider. And I'm not a trainer for mental health first aid yet. I'm hoping to become one. But that also involves me doing programming and awareness of mental health issues in the workplace. In other conversations we've had, we've talked about my becoming a grief educator and coach because my friend lost her son in a military training accident. My friend Sue also taught the Future Leaders in Construction program with us. So that really is kind of what's driving this side. And I am so grateful that our chapter and our board, when I proposed that I go, I do air quotes, right? I go part-time to focus exclusively on leadership and total human health initiatives. It was fully supported. So very, very grateful for that.
Why do you think there's been such a focus put on the mental health aspect of the construction business, the construction world?
I think that there's a couple of things that are happening. Number one, we're starting to see a greater awareness in understanding the need to talk about mental health. Let's face it, the construction industry, we're not known for being, touchy-feely and sharing our feelings and whatnot. But we recognize that there's a need to talk about mental health issues. So we've got, some of the highest numbers in suicide for any industry. And that also ties back to mental health. So when you look at that, you also look at the rate of substance misuse, alcohol, and other substance misuse in the industry is high. When you combine, the substance, suicide prevention, we have to be talking about mental health and we have to be addressing it because we can't leave it at the door, right? We can't, it used to be, suck it up, buttercup. Leave your problems at home. Well, we don't leave our problems at home. We take them to work. So we have to start talking about this and supporting our employees. I oversaw the workforce development initiatives previously, and it's a retention and recruitment opportunity
Hmm.
for our chapter and for our members, right? When you think about, we don't have people knocking on our job trailers anymore saying, hey, I'm looking for a job, right? So we have to take care and support the employees that we do have so that we can retain them. And it's not just a retention and recruitment, it's the right thing to do.
And when you say something like that, right, it seems pretty common sense, pretty seems to be looking out for your employees, looking out for people. Why do you think that's so hard for so many companies to understand?
Well, I think first of all, it's not what we're used to.
Right.
Right. When we start talking about our feelings and bringing our personal lives into the workplace, we're not comfortable with it and we're not equipped. We don't know how. We're not therapists and counselors.
Right.
So, we might want to default to human resources to say, take that over to human resources. And human resources, number one, if you have somebody to do human resources, not everybody does, they're not equipped for it either. Right? They're not counselors, they're not therapists. They don't have that level of training, and nor am I. Right? I'm not a counselor or therapist. Just happen to be in this world of, grief education and mental health awareness, etc. I think also they just don't know what to say. So we default to the EAPs. If your company has an EAP, we default to the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. And unfortunately, I think that employees still don't trust the EAP programs. They
Right.
are 100% anonymous. That's the value of them. Yet, I think that some people still don't trust that they're anonymous, so they therefore don't make those calls.
You're right. It's amazing. This is 2024 and it's still very hard for people to talk about, right? To have the ability to tell someone what's going on, like you said, whether it's something going on at home and you're basically leave it at home, but you can't leave it home. You spend so much time with people that you work with, right? It's hard for that not to affect your work, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I know we want to talk about too was it's late October now. We're slowly creeping up on the holidays. It'll be Thanksgiving before you know it. It feels like it was just 4th of July. Thanksgiving's around the corner. And then you've got other holidays coming up behind that, right? So there's a lot of what people call the holiday blues.
Mhm.
Do you have some pointers for people to kind of help deal with the holiday blues?
I do. What I'd like to do first, though, Mike, is really try to identify what the holiday blues are.
Mhm.
Everybody may not know that, right? So I think of it as when you're feeling a little bit more bah humbug than fa la 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 la, right?
Mm.
The holidays, everybody thinks that it's this beautiful, joyous time of year. Everybody's out celebrating. We're all happy. And that's not the case. It's not the case for everyone. When you look at some of the common causes for the holiday blues, we'll start there. Just family, right? When you look at how dysfunctional some families are, that's one piece of it. When you look at the family structures, you may not be able to spend time with your family. You may want to, you may not be able to. You
Mhm.
may not be able to because they're, halfway across the country. You may not be able to because they're not here. They're not walking this earth. Right. So when you look at the family dynamics can be very stressful. We all joke about, the drunk uncle at Thanksgiving, but the fact of the matter is, right, for a lot of people, that's not a comfortable thing. So it can cause a lot of stress for people, just the family dynamics. We have grief and trauma that have impacted people. If you take a look back at what had happened during COVID, right, we weren't able, that was an obvious time, right? We weren't able to spend time with our family and friends. But the grief and trauma that goes along with people, and it could be not just grief in loss of human life, it could be grief and, maybe they've moved and they can't get there. They don't have the money to be able to spend time with their families. Maybe they lost a job. There's also all of these social stressors and all of these, we should be doing this. So I think about company parties.
Mhm.
Company parties, they can be a lot of fun. They can also cause people a lot of stress, especially if you're trying to take care of substance issues. If you've, recently, or whether you're, 5 months or 5 years or 50 years into recovery, those social gatherings can be very stressful for people. And just not everybody's comfortable in crowds,
Mhm.
right? So taking a look at all of these, so many things to do, all of these unrealistic expectations that, we have all of these parties, we have to buy all of these things, we have to decorate, we have to do all of these things. We have all of these social expectations, and that can cause people a lot of anxiety. So financial difficulties, again, the expectations, we have to buy, we have to host, we have to attend, we have to look just these ways. All of these become very stressful for a lot of people. So we look at stress, anxiety, depression. This time of year can be prevalent with that. And then there's the seasonal affective disorder.
Mhm.
So, for listeners who may not be familiar with that, especially in New England, it's dark outside and it's dark all the time, right? Right. I don't know
Yep.
about you, Mike, but when you leave for work in the middle
It's
of winter,
it's dark.
it's dark. And when you go home,
It's dark. Yep.
right?
Yep.
And it's cold.
It's cold. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
want to get
So
out of bed in
that,
the morning, right? And then you got to get in your cold car, drive to work, and then get back in your dark car and drive home in the dark. Yeah, it's so miserable. It's
yeah.
a
And then
miserable
you're
time.
worried about the weather and travel, and there's just, the seasonal affective disorder hits so many people. So
Yep.
combine all of that, right? It's not just one thing. For some people, it's a combination. It's all of the temptations and the overindulgences and the food that's present and the pressure of, we'll just have one, just have one cookie, or just have one drink, so all of these social pressures that we we put on each other and put on ourselves.
It's funny because when you mention all that, right? When I think about myself personally, this time of the year is really crazy for me. And I know I put a lot of pressure on myself because it's my son's birthday. It's Thanksgiving. It's a big thing at my house, right? It's my anniversary in there. And then I've got my wife's birthday, Christmas, New Year's, right? If I can make it unscathed between now and January 1st, I'm feeling pretty good. It's a
Yeah.
big relief from January 1st also because I'm saying to myself, well, I survived another one, and that's a lot of pressure to put on someone. I know I personally feel that. So those are some great, things that you identified. Now, what are some ways people can combat or, fight off those holiday blues?
Well, I think it's setting boundaries and letting those boundaries be known. So if you're not comfortable going to the holiday party, set that boundary for yourself. So I see that as this is kind of two sides to the equation, right? Set the boundaries for yourself and let those be known, and let it be known that it's okay, because it's okay to not be okay. And that's something that, in the whole mental health awareness, we're really trying to get people to understand that it's okay. And then the other side of that is for everyone else to know that if somebody has set that boundary, if somebody's made that decision, respect that. If I decide not to go to a holiday gathering, it's probably for a good reason. And if I choose not to, please don't put the pressure on me and make me feel guilty that I'm not going to be able to do something. I think also because, grief is really my kind of area of expertise here. And I think about somebody who maybe has lost a loved one recently. And now this could be their first holiday, their first something without their person. And as much as we as outsiders may feel like we're doing the best thing by saying, please come, it's going to be good for you, you need to socialize. It may not be right now. So if somebody is in that space and they're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get through this, set your boundaries and know that it's okay to change your mind at the very last second. If you choose not to change your mind at the last second and you go to an event and you get there and you're not feeling it and you're afraid that you're, again, anxiety, depression, when those feelings start to come about, have an escape plan. So those are some of the tips. Just and it's unfortunate, Mike, that I don't think we talk about it enough, right? So if we talked about it enough, if we were just able to say, hey, Mike, you know what? I really appreciate the invite. I'm going to say yes, but it's probably going to be no. And either way, it's not you, right? It's not you, it's me.
Right.
And that's okay.
All right. What was number 2? Number 1 was a great one. Set boundaries for yourself. I like that a lot. I wrote that one down. Number 2.
Number 2. So number 2 would be have the exit plan, right? So set your boundaries, have an exit plan. Be realistic. Know what you are capable of. And know that it's okay to say no. Look for small moments. So on the positive side, kind of look for small moments of comfort. Look for those moments that you can find joy in. And that may even be just in memories, right? So if you can find the joy in memories, oftentimes memories can also surface, more anxiety, depression, etc. But, try to find moments of joy or something that brings you some level of comfort. If you can't, spend time in nature, like, getting outside can be healthy, just breathing the fresh air. And then a lot of the other, what we would call our normal self-care tips. So, try to get the sleep that you need. Be mindful of intake. So intake of food, intake of alcohol, the extra sweets, just be mindful of those things. Acknowledge your feelings. That's a big piece of it. A lot of people won't do that. A lot of people, they want to push it aside. They don't want to acknowledge it because let's face it, when you're having some mental health challenges, whatever those challenges are, we don't always want to have to face what those emotions are because sometimes they're tough and they're ugly. So we'd rather suppress them. And it's actually healthier to acknowledge your feelings. And then I'd say, give yourself permission to whatever the date is. So if it's a big holiday and you choose not to participate in that holiday, then give yourself permission to let it just be a normal day.
Mm.
And for all of those, I'd say for everybody on the outside, just please have that understanding. Another way that some people can get through the holidays is by doing some volunteer work. They find that it's helpful and healthy to give back, even though I may be the one suffering in some way, shape, or form. Giving back to others can kind of lighten things up for folks.
And that's a great reminder because you think about what the holidays are about, right? You think it's not about buying the most fancy, expensive gift or the, taking that crazy, or buying some of the most expensive thing on their list, but maybe it's giving back, volunteering to help someone else, right? That's kind of what the holidays are more about than the fancy, sparkly, shiny gifts, right? You think about some of the lessons you learned as a kid. All right, well, that's Jennifer Landon. She is the Vice President of Leadership and Total Human Health Initiatives. She is a friend of the podcast. She's been on several times. Jennifer, if anybody had any questions for you or had, I know that the Vital Cog initiative has been pretty big with ABC National. And if anybody has any questions about that or has any questions about the Human Health Initiative in general, what's the best way someone can get a hold of you?
My email would be best, and that's Jennifer, JENNIFER, at abcnhvt.org. The other thing that they could do is they could reach out to me. I do have a a website called yourgriefmatters.co. So that's yourgriefmatters.co.
Awesome. And thanks again for coming on. I think it's amazing when you come on. It's just to see to talk to people from maybe New Hampshire. Vermont is fantastic. It's always good to talk to our neighbors to the north. All right, now comes my personal favorite part of the podcast. It is time for the lightning round. We're going to insert some lightning sound effects. And then usually what I do is I ask them the questions, but I'm going to let you, the guest, pick a number between 26 and 162. And you're gonna pick your own questions. 26 to 162.
84.
84. 84 says, it's a good one. What was your favorite game to play as a child?
The dating game. It
What?
was it was a board game. It was
All
a,
right, man. Oh my
I
goodness.
think
All
that's
right.
what it was called. Yeah.
So the dating game was a board game you played as a child.
It was a board game. Yes, yes. I'm dating myself. Yeah. So it was I can't remember how it was, but I remember, it was cute boys and cute girls, and you had to
Interesting.
spin a wheel. Yeah.
All right, interesting. So
I
no one's
think
ever said that. So all right, it was 84. Pick another number between 26 and 162.
59.
59 is, what is your favorite Disney hero or heroine, and would you trade places with them? Favorite Disney hero or heroine, would you trade places with them?
So trading places, no. Um,
Disney hero or heroine.
and I'm trying to think of the hero because, like, what's his name in the Jungle Book? Like the Jungle Book is my favorite.
Mowgli.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. The
Yeah.
Jungle
And
Book.
actually King Louis was my favorite character
All right, that's a
in
good
that.
one.
So not really a hero or heroine, but
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this one. When you die, what do you want to be remembered for? The deep one.
Ooh. I want to be remembered for being compassionate.
I think that's something that you're going to get, because just from our several conversations about the grief stuff and the mental health stuff, I think that's pretty amazing that you have the ability to do that. Not everybody has the ability to be compassionate, be empathetic. So that's pretty awesome. All right, pick another number between 26 and 162.
154.
154 says, what are you most excited about this year?
Ooh, I am most excited. Okay, so I have to ask a clarifying question. When we say this year, are we talking about the year of like the upcoming year?
Yeah, the upcoming year, let's say.
Okay,
From
the
now
upcoming
until,
year?
yeah. Good one.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay. Well, I am most excited that I'm going to be turning 60.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I have no idea what's to come. So I find that exciting because everything that is unknown is an adventure, good, bad, or ugly. It's an adventure. And I find that
Oh,
exciting.
love it. Love it. All right. No, another number between 26 and 162.
Let's see. How old's my husband? 57.
What is your favorite magical or mythological animal? Magical or mythological animal?
Well, okay, so I'm going to take a different twist on this. How do we know that they're magical or mythological? How do we
Ooh.
know that they didn't actually exist and they just don't exist anymore?
Wow, that's a good one. All right, well, I don't even know how to counter that one. I don't even
Yeah,
know where to go with that one.
so I would say, to me, if they're mystical and magical, then, how could they not all be my favorites?
All right,
Because it's more of that unknown.
love it. I'm gonna ask you one. What is your most used emoji?
Oh, probably just the simple smiley face.
Simple smiley face. Let's see. Let's see here. If I could ask you one, what would the title of your autobiography be?
Oh, Mike.
Jesus,
You know,
that's a
I'm
lovely one.
sorry. I think that my microphone is breaking up. The title of my I have two sayings. One is you don't have to accept my beliefs, values, or opinions. You should respect them.
Okay.
And maybe a subtitle to that would be live every day of every moment with your heart filled with kindness, compassion, gratitude, empathy, forgiveness, and love.
That's a long title of the book, but I like that. I'd buy that book. I would buy the book and I would read it. I would definitely read it. I'll ask you this one. What was your least favorite food as a child? Do you still hate it now or do you love it now?
I don't think I was allowed to hate food.
Ooh.
Um, we belong to the Clean Plate Club.
Yep.
Um, I can't think of a food that I don't like. Probably it would had to have been, I know that when my parents had parties, they would have oysters. So I'd probably have to say oysters and still don't like them. Still
Yeah.
think they're yucky.
I'm with you. This might be a good one too. So, which decade do you love the most? The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s?
Oh, the 70s.
Oh, your 70s? Yeah. What do you like most about the 70s?
I don't think that I want to disclose that on air.
All right, we'll ask you one more here. If you could change places with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm just going to go with what my immediate thought is. And it's going to be deep. I'm going to say that I would change places with my friend Sue, who lost her son, so that I could take that grief away from her, even just for a moment.
That's an excellent answer. And then this is always one of our favorite questions. There's a food fight at the Landon House tonight. What is your weapon of choice? And you cannot say mashed potatoes.
Okay. Wow, I can't say mashed potatoes.
No mashed
Then I'm
potatoes.
probably going to have to say meatloaf.
The meatloaf. Yeah. And who's the first person at your house you're chucking it at?
My husband, he's the
It-
only one there, so I'd have to chuck it at him. So yeah,
The whole thing like a football, chucking a whole meatloaf at him, or you chucking pieces of the meatloaf at him?
probably just a slice because I don't want to
Slice.
waste the food, but
All
it
right.
would be more for the principle of like, you like meatloaf. I use the same ingredients for the meatballs. You eat the meatballs, but you won't eat the meatloaf. I don't understand. There's no logic to that. Same thing with egg salad, Mike. I
Yep.
make deviled eggs the same exact way that I make egg salad. And all I do is I chop up the deviled eggs. Here you go. I don't like egg salad. Like what? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's a perplexing one. That's a tough. So he won't eat the meatloaf, but eats the meatballs.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. All right. So if he's listening to this, eat your wife's meatloaf. It's the same thing that goes to the meatballs. All right. That's our friend Jennifer Lannon from she's, like I said, Vice President of Leadership, Total Human Health Initiatives. We appreciate her so much. Thanks for coming on, Jennifer. Appreciate you very much.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Oh, hey everyone. It's Mike from the future again. We appreciate you tagging, sharing, and following all our posts on social media. Keep it up. We appreciate it. See you soon.